Okay, we're starting in 1 minute. Hi everybody, this is Judy Carter and welcome to 3 essential stories that you need to sell yourself. I'm so excited that you are here. Of course, this is part of the messageofyou.com, and I like to show when we reveal one of our courses, and this is the course in marketing, I like to share it with the public. So I'm so glad you are here. And also, you want to get out old school if you want a pen or this, or if you have a laptop nearby, that is awesome. Because today I am going to show you, I'm going to answer the question that so many people ask me, authors, comics, speakers, how do you get paying gigs? And how do you get on television? How do you promote your stuff? Well, I'm going to show you how to promote it. I'm going to show you how I got on national TV from submitting a story. And you have the stories. You just have to have them in the right formula. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. Because the stories that we are going to deal with today are, here they are, the story of your business or your product. So you need a very compelling story about that. I'm going to show you how to get that. In my speech, actually, I started to tell a story about why I wrote my book. I found that after I told a story, and a really funny story and about my book, all of a sudden, when I finished my talk, at the back of the room, everybody was rushing to get my book. Of course, I also say, I'm so sorry, I don't have enough copies for everybody. But the story is about my product. Okay, 1 second. The next one is the story of your customer. All right, you need to collect these stories. These are stories of your customer, and this is where they were in such a mess. They had such a problem, and then they bought your product, okay? Now, I know this is really unprofessional, but I have to turn a phone off. Hold on 1 second. Okay. I can't remember the last time I actually got a call from somebody who didn't want to sell me anything. All right, so we talked about the story of your customer. Then we need your heart story. And this is the story that answers the question, why this is so important to be. Now, actually, we're not going to be talking about heart story, a little bit about heart story, but mostly what I want to do is to focus on the story of your business or your product. Okay, so I want to know, what are you promoting? So you'll see in front of you, you see a little chat thing. Could you please write in it what you'd like to promote? Now, if you're promoting yourself, what aspect of yourself, okay? Are you promoting yourself as a speaker? But if you're promoting yourself as a speaker, you really want to be promoting a message, right? So it's not just me. So can you type into the chat portion, what are you promoting? Okay, so I see Robin wants to promote a training class. Okay, great. Let me just see this. All right, you know, you could just, because this is really best if you participate. And we focus on what, because this is all about you. My webinars are all about how to make you successful. And I like them to be participatory, so please. So someone wants to promote a training class. Okay, great. Be good to be specific about what kind of training class. My services as a copywriter. All right, great, Denise. Sharon Lacey is promoting turn challenges into opportunities and say yes to the stress. So you're promoting a certain message. Okay, great. Some people are promoting themselves as a comedian, as an actor, personal transformation of trauma, a copywriter. This is great because I could hire some of you right now that I've seen all these things that I need. Robin says regulatory training for FDA products, healing energy, Reiki specifically. Very good. All right. Motivational speaking. Someone's promoting their blog about coding projects and coding for kids. That's fantastic. All right. Keep writing that in so I can review all these, and that is very helpful. All right. So let's go back to discovering our stories. And this is, again, this is using stories to sell yourself, specifically selling yourself to the media. Now, here are some books that I've written. When the Comedy Bible came out, Simon & Schuster is the publisher of that, and I got on Oprah. And that totally launched my whole career, and it was amazing. And then when The Message of You came out with St. Martin's Press, decent publisher, fantastic. I was thrilled to have an advance in a publishing deal. And it was 2 weeks before my book was going to come out, and I wanted to know where I was booked on television. And they go, oh, we don't do that. So I had to really hustle, and I wasn't sure what to do or how to do it. So the information I'm giving you in this webinar ended up with me being on national television. All right, it wasn't like as big as the Oprah show, but it made enough of a dent to pump up my book in one day to like the top selling book on Amazon. And national TV can do it for you, because this is what it looks like when you're on national TV. Okay, so how cool is that? That Marie Osmond says to me, I feel I know you so well. I want that she comes over and she sits on my lap on national TV, holding my book up. And, you know, being on national TV, it's not just who watches it. That's not as important anymore. But when you send that video to speaker bureaus, when you send it out to companies to be hired, you are on the map. You mean something. So television isn't as strong as it used to be because it's so divided over various mediums, but that lives forever on your YouTube page, on Facebook, and it means a lot, believe me, to your pricing and how much you charge for things, and it escalates you to the top of your field. And it's not even that important what TV show it is. It's like you're on national TV. So, of course, the information I'm going to give you today, somebody asked, Judy, is this webinar repeated? It's part of this my program, which is a membership program called The Message of You, which shows you specifically how to find your message. Because having a story is not enough. It has to be part of an overall message. You can no longer just be a comic, or I'm a speaker, or I'm an author. You really have to be all about what your message is. And my courses teach you how to find that, make it funny, and market it. And so you're watching right now one of the videos in message-based marketing. And our last webinar was Margot Black showed us how to pitch to the media and how to make the media love you. So this webinar on using your story and finding that essential story is actually part of a series. So this is lesson 7 in a series. And that series consists of, because you need to know where we are in the process of you marketing yourself and making a living from what you love doing. Well, first you have to create your marketing promise statement, which is just 7 words, like you reduce your message to 7 words. And then you have to find your phrases, so SEO marketing, so people find you on the internet. A lot of people who've taken the Message of You course have turned their message into a TED or TEDx talk, and that's very valuable. And content writing web copy that sells, we cover that, and how to create your demo video on a shoestring. So that's all a part of the messageofyou.com. And after this is over, I'm going to give you a very special offer, so make it really affordable for you to join us. So let's go back to the 3 essential stories that you need. The story of your business or product, the story of your customer, and your heart story. So the story of your business or your product. So here's what I did when I found out that, oh my gosh, my publisher was doing zero, nada, nothing to promote myself. I had to hustle and I had to promote myself. I called everyone I knew. I found somebody who was working as a segment producer on Marie Osmond's show, and she said to submit a story. So I shot a story using just a camera I got on eBay and at my home, just with one person running it. And this is a story that got me on national TV. This story got me to be interviewed as an expert on CNN and various other shows. So I want you to look at this video, and then afterwards we can talk about it so you can find a story such as this that will get you on TV. In this story, as in all stories, it's a mess to success story, and also reveals part of my own life and my own heart story. So I'm going to share this with you now. Okay, people. So that is my product story. And when I tell this story, I usually will go, let me tell you why I wrote the book. And the real story is that the book was supposed to be a book about how to memorize a speech, how to write a speech, blah, 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 blah. But then an event happened that made me change what the book was about. It wasn't about, the speaking Bible. It was about the message of you. And so when you sell yourself, you have to have a story of transformation, a story that of of a mess that you were in and why you created what you create, what you're selling. And so it's very difficult if it's just about you. Like, for instance, shows or comics who sell themselves can have a story, amazing story about working a comedy club and having a really dead audience and some kind of story of the transformation they did, how they took, a heckling audience and transformed them. Let's go back to the information that I want to give you. So that was my product story. So the next important story is the story of your customer. Now, when I sent them that tape, I'm so old school, what do you say? The video. When I sent them the video, they immediately hired me, and they said they want me to tell the veteran story because a lot of people in their audience are related to veterans. Okay, so all stories are a mess to success journey. So when I actually went on the show, what was really important was number 2, the story of your customer. Why am I on the show? Well, I want people to know about my book, but I also want them to know that I do consultations, right? So I also did some studying to go, who watches Marie Osmond's show? And I found out that housewives watch her show. Women watch the show. So what I had to do was dig into my archives and come up with a story of one of my students and her transformation from a mess to success, as well as the Nick story. And I had to get that all in 8 minutes. So I wanted to, before I knew I wanted to end with a story about Nick, because that was really why I wrote that book. But before that, I wanted to tell a story that was really about the people who are watching. And this is the story about Naomi Lopez, who is one of my students. And I'll show this to you right now. And you can see what I did with it. Okay, so that is my customer story, my client story. That is a story that is here. Naomi Lopez. She thought she was a just. She thought she was a nobody. And then I showed her from reading the book. I mean, it's the strategy of a story is what are you selling? And that's when you come, what you're selling. So that's the story we're telling. We're going to tell a story about somebody who is a mess. You're going to describe them a little bit. You don't have a lot of time. I'm going to take you through every step of finding your story. And your customer story. In the Message of You course, we call this your credibility story. So this is where somebody is a mess and you describe that, and then you enter it, or your product enters it, or they use that, and then they're a success. But we always start with a mess. Matter of fact, if we look at let's look at, I just got this off the internet. In a 15-second commercial, all commercials are this story. It's the story of the customer having a real mess, the product comes in, and then it's a success. For instance, okay, okay, and that's the solution. So what we're going to do is find the story of one of your customers. So I want you to start thinking about this right now, and then we're going to do some participatory things. I'm going to take you through finding a mess to success story about your customer. Well, it has to be about a specific customer. It has to be about a specific person. And you want to describe that person you help. This is before you help them. Give a name and a small description about them. And matter of fact, I would love it if you could write this in the chat version and chat session, and then I could read some of them. The next thing we're going to do is you're going to go, this person wanted something. Describe what it is they wanted and a little bit about their situation. Now, this is where most stories are flawed, because stories go, this happened, this happened, this happened. You really don't have a story unless you have somebody who wants something. So here you have a woman who's taking my workshop, and she wants something. She wants to find a message, and her mess is that she feels she's just a housewife and she has nothing. 50 ways to make a hot dog casserole. She has nothing. She doesn't feel she's an expert. Okay. The next thing is you want to name some of the obstacles that they're facing from getting them what they wanted. In some obstacles can be obstacles such as they were broke, they didn't have the money to get what they wanted. And some of the obstacles also could be, well, here's some things they tried. Let me just say, inner obstacles. That's what I was looking for. So internally, what's stopping getting what they wanted? So in Naomi Lopez's, it was a lack of concept, a lack of confidence. She felt she was just a mom. So you have to have external obstacles, and it's really good to mention an inner obstacle. The person had a lot of anger, the person lack of confidence. It helps us to get to know this person and care about them. And what I said on this slide before, in a longer story, you might want to, or when you're giving a speech, you want to talk about all the things they tried, but it just didn't work. They just couldn't figure it out. You see this on a lot of commercials where you go, hey, you tried Verizon, right? Well, now you want to try Sprint. So the big boys use that in commercials, and the advertising uses that. It's all about a story, a mess to success story. Okay, so now you enter the story. Okay, you enter the story. So you want to go, well, how do they meet you? It's just brief. You just want to know what's your association with them, um, and how are you related to them? How do you enter the story? So this is, you briefly talk about how you help them, but you never go into great detail, especially if you're doing a speech about the person you help, because you're going to go in detail a little later on in the speech. But the important part is the results, the success, that now this person is making money, this person's written a book, this person is be able to give a doctor a middle finger because of your product and what you've done. These are the results that they have because of you, and you want to mention them. So this is the most important part. This is the finale of the story, because this person should be exactly like somebody in the audience, and the person in the audience is going like, oh, what did you do? How did you help them? Well, now you need to buy my book, hire me to perform. I need to be your copywriter. Boy, do you come visit Reiki Studios. And this is a story that you could do in no more than 2-3 minutes on your website. I would keep it really, really short. Also, you can have the person themselves tell the story if they do it really quickly. And the story always needs to be who they are now, but they need to describe the problem that they had and that they worked with you and the results that they got. So that's that in a nutshell. So this is, again, all part of what we do in the message of you. I'm going to be working with you in just a few minutes, but I told you there's going to be a special offer, and let me show you what that is. In the message of you, first thing you need to know is what is the message that you put your entire career on? What is your hook? And that is your message. And what these 16 video lessons help you is to find that message. And then we show you how to improvise your speech. Writing a speech is really boring, but it's really a very, very specific formula for writing a speech. And I like to do it in front of the computer, standing up and recording it, not writing it. Writing is secondary. Writing happens after you have the idea. And then, of course, I'm Judy Carter. It has to be funny. Speakers aren't hired unless they're funny, entertaining. Everybody wants to pay for and hire a speaker who has content but delivers it in a funny way. And even if you are humor impaired, this course will help you. And message-based marketing, then you have to sell what you've created, and that shows you how. And we do that in online coaching workshops. This is a webinar open to the public right now, but we meet in small sessions called Judy Jam sessions, where we run through your material. And some people take it and turn it into a TED Talk. This is Dahlia Mogahed, one of my students, and she turned it into a TED Talk, not TEDx, but TED. And if you look, it's already had 1.7 million views, and it was just voted the top 10, one of the top 10 TED Talks of 2016. And this is I just wanted to show you this really briefly before we do the coaching. Show you the various people who go through the Message of You workshop. And this is a WWE wrestler. You know that wrestler, John Hannigan. We'll let him tell you. Okay, so that is John Hannigan. And again, this is exactly what I'm talking about. So this is kind of like very surreal for me because I'm like telling you to become a member of the Message of You, and I'm using the techniques that I'm like showing you the magic trick as I do it. But that is a message success story. I didn't know how to do it, and now I'm speaking and talking to kids and finding real satisfaction in that. And and so I just want to tell you, we have for the first 30% off to the first 15 people who sign up. And this is going to be the signing up for the entire year. So this includes so much. The price is usually $9.50 for this, but we're going to do it just for the first 15 people who sign up. It's $665, and you have to sign up using this code TMOY, the Message of You E. That's the enhanced course 30. And you sign up at themessageofyou.com. You'll receive an email in a few minutes that has the link to it. And the special bonus, you're going to get the Message of You journal, which is finding extraordinary stories in an ordinary day, because stories are happening all the time. And it also includes a 30-minute one-on-one private consult with me that we do online. And so this is the offer if you want to be a part of it, if you like what you see and you really want to enhance your career, sell your products, and get paid to be a speaker. And of course, this is going to include the Message of You. So there's that. So now I would like to start the workshop portion. And let's just start. Let me just see what some of you have written. We're going to first do this one more time, and I'm going to give you 1 minute. So I want you to describe the person that you helped, just a real small description of them, and just we're going to do that in 1 minute. So why don't you write that, and you have 1 minute. Go ahead. It's very important to visualize people, how old they are, a little bit about what they look like, just very, very briefly. And this is before you help them. Okay, so a small description of who they are so the audience can picture them. Okay? Okie doke. Now, next thing what we want to do is I want you to write, what did that person want? Okay, they wanted that. They wanted something. So describe their situation and what is it they wanted. And at the same time, what I want you to do is not only describe what they want, but the mess that they were in. So they wanted something, but they were in a terrible mess. So let's try that, and let's just write for 1 minute about what did they want and what kind of mess were they in. Okay, so all right, so we have a little bit about this person very briefly, and who was this person? They wanted something. And, it's really important to say what they wanted because you don't have a story. Unless Dorothy says over and over, I wanted to get back to Oz. All right. So did they try something? I want you to just note this down, and then I'm going to work with some of the message of you members. Did they try something, but it didn't work? Okay. They maybe tried something, but that didn't even work. All right. And what I'd like you to do now is, what was their inner obstacle? What was stopping them? Like, again, lack of confidence, misconceptions. They were in the middle of, they were raging, so nobody listened to them. They had a problem with depression. They had some inner obstacle. Okay. Now, let me just go right back here. Okay. So here we go. So we inner obstacle, and now you enter the story. Okay. So just write, how did they meet you? And again, this is very, very brief. They were in my class. They were in the audience. They came backstage. This is not, each step is not long. It's just a little information, okay? And now you help them. You want to keep this really short. I gave them my book to read. I told them a joke. I keep it really short. They worked with me. They were a real estate client. They hired on to be one of my clients. Again, very brief. Okay, and now this I'd like to spend 1 minute on, and we're going to do another writing session here for 1 minute. I want to know what kind of results do they have because of you, your product, or your services. Okay, so let's do that, and then we're going to listen to some of the stories. Now, when you go results, these are, this all has to be honest, okay? And again, it doesn't have to be a big deal. John Hannigan, he spoke for kids. It wasn't that he was already very successful as a WWE superstar, but this was something that was very satisfying to him. So what happened? What happened? What were the results that this person now has? Okay. So what I'm going to do after this is put some of you on air. Okay, fantastic. Okay, so I see we have a couple people here. Let's start with some of message of you members. Lynn Rose, do you want to give this a go? And let me put you up here. All right. Okay, so hey Lynn, you're unmuted now. You're fine.
Okay.
Hi there.
Hi.
All right, Lynn. Thanks for doing this. So let's just start with your story. All right. So this is a story about whom?
D.W. Starr, and he is a speaker and also in business as a consultant. And shall I just start sharing?
Let's hold it a little second, okay? Now, as we do this, I'm going to coach you a bit, okay?
Yeah.
Now, I have no idea if he's his age or what he looks like. Is he, I want just some people think in pictures.
Yep.
And when you can create a picture, just real quick, give me just a real quick picture of the guy. Okay, go ahead.
I was going to jump to where I met him, even though when we worked together it happened later, but that describes what he was and opens up. Is that all right to start that way?
We don't have a story until we have desire. So let's follow the formula. So
okay, I just don't know how to. So because tell me how you would change this part.
All right.
So I met him at the National Speakers Association, and there was this guy who's just among.
Okay, stop. Okay, so I'm going to put on the code words to help you, because you're already in the story, and I don't even know any, and I don't care about the guy whatsoever. You know what I mean? So when, this is not a story about us. It's so important that it's a story about somebody else. So I'm going to put on the cues, and you're just going to follow this, okay? So here we go. Ready? Okay. All right. Tell me about what's this guy's name? A little description so the audience can picture them. Now, audience, when you can picture him, can you raise your hand? All right. So, and don't do the story the way you used to do it. We're going to do it a different kind of way. Okay.
All right.
So, go ahead. Tell me the person.
D.W. Starr, as a hardworking salesman who was top of his company, $1 million salesperson, and really wanted to bring that out into working with companies.
Okay, hold it before we get to the next one. Can anybody picture what he looks like?
I was just about to get there. I didn't get there yet.
All we're doing is you only have 10 seconds. You go, he tell me his age. We're not being creative right now. We're just trying to describe the person so the audience can picture them. The name and a small description should take maybe 10 seconds. Go.
D.W. Starr, he was a 65-year-old who looks 50, white hair, tall, and a $1 million salesman, but...
Okay, stop. That's good. We can picture him. Okay, you guys can all picture him, right? Yes, Karen Bucks can picture him. Okay, fantastic. Great. Because you have to, this was so hard for people to understand. This story is not about you. And when we put stories that are not about us, we really have to make the audience picture them, because they're the hero of the story, okay? So now, okay, so we have this guy. We know he's about 65. What did he want? Just tell me what he wanted.
So he wanted to transition out of being a stellar salesperson and be a full-time speaker and consultant to companies with this specialty area around business growth and change.
Okay, so he really wanted to be a speaker because, can you tell me a little more about his desire? He's doing really well, and now he really wants to do well in another field. But why? Why did he want to be a speaker?
He felt he had a lot to offer with his understanding of people's resistance to change because of his own story of change throughout his life with 3 traumatic brain injuries.
Oh, so he really had some very personal stories. He really wanted to share them as a speaker. He was a frustrated entertainer. He wanted to get out in front of people. Okay, great. Got it. Okay. But he couldn't. He couldn't do it. What happened? Why couldn't he do it?
Well, as can often happen when someone is inside their own story or their own world, it's hard to see how you're translating. And he knew he wanted to stand out. And so he thought, here's what I'll do to stand out, is I'll dress up like a doctor, and I'll be a doctor of change. And so at this conference in 2000...
Okay, no, too much information. He couldn't get any gigs, right? That's all you want to say. He couldn't get any gigs. He had great ideas.
It wasn't a great idea, though.
Well, he had a sincere, authentic message he wanted to communicate, but he couldn't get any gigs. He called people up, right? See, this is so much. We make things so much more complicated. He couldn't get any gigs. Okay? All right. What did he try to do? So he tried to create a video, right? Go ahead.
He tried to stand out at the conference for speakers by dressing as a doctor throughout that entire conference. He came up with his brand
but all you want to say, and then he tried to do some things, and boy, were they were so hokey.
Okay.
He dressed up in outfits. He tried to do a character.
He thought his video to sell himself would be what was shot in the midst of the conference in him in his doctor's outfit, babbling on and on. You could barely hear him.
It was a disaster, you know? And he was stubborn. What was an inner obstacle? He was stubborn?
More of an inner obstacle is that he just wasn't able to see how he was translating on the outside. He had great ideas.
That's a little too California woo-woo, translating on the outside. You gotta get it very clear. You know, he didn't have a clear view of how he was turning people off, right?
Yeah.
You know, he was very out there and loud, and he was loudly turning people off, right?
Yeah.
Oh, nobody wanted to give this guy a job. Right?
Everybody stayed about 10 feet away from him. Exactly.
Yeah. So, you know, I met him and we had some consults, right?
Well, I met him at the conference.
Forget about the conference.
But I mean, here he was as the doctor. I'm going, who is this guy? And then he called 2 months later, having investigated it.
Too much detail.
Okay.
It's a very streamlined story. We can add detail later when we do the comedy pass on it. We're not doing comedy pass. We're just doing the story. Now so I met him. He became a client. And now what happened? Tell me the results.
So we threw out his previous ideas of branding.
No, results. I don't want to.
But I'm just about to get to the result. But so we changed his branding and we turned it into When Change Means Business. We completely reshot him.
That's what you did. Those are not results. Those are
so it led him to what he had. So I don't know how else to get there without saying
No. Let me tell you how we do this. You go, just tell me his results.
So after working with him and doing the things I just said, we
worked together, and now this is not about you. We worked together, and now tell me his results.
So now he's getting requests and bookings, and in fact, he just showed the first 45 seconds of a video to a top colleague, one of the top speakers in the industry, in his industry, and he went, "That's what I'm trying to tell companies. Can I use your video before I speak every time?" Which opens up.
How much more money has he made?
I've not asked him the exact amount, but
okay. So now so we worked together, we put together a video. I did this very specific technique coaching him, and now he is booked. He has he's just had to turn down a gig because his calendar is full, you know. And if you want to know what I did with him, here's my book, here's my website, here's more detail. Because here's the thing. We throw so much information at people and they don't care. They only care after they know the results. So as you have to get to the results.
Interesting.
You have to get to the results. You have to, because now I want to know, well, what did you do? How do I join? How do I get that? You know what do I do?
Right.
How did that happen? Can I do it? Now they're interested because he's doing that. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, that's great.
Because the process you went through with him, nobody cares about until they know the end of the story. You see, the story, people, is to get the people into your universe. You're already in your universe. You care about your universe. You care about all the stuff and all the techniques and where you met them, all the details. You care a lot about that. But this is a video to sell your products, yourself, what you're doing, your consultations. So it's all about him and his journey and his arc too. And it's always really funny, the mess part. Oh my God, it was like people were going like, get this guy away from me. Oh my God. You know, and it's always good. Those are called act out. So you want to act out how people are responding, what he's doing. So Lynn, that's terrific. We have time for somebody else. So that is fantastic. Okay. Who else who wants to do this, who is a Message of You member and would like to tell their story about a sex story? Yeah, that would do well for one of your clients. You can just raise your hand and I will pick on you. Karen Buxman, do you have a story of someone you've helped, a client you've helped? Do you have something like that? Do you want to give that a go. All right. So, do you want to? Hi, Karen.
I was just telling you I was going to take a pass tonight because I'm sick.
Oh, you're sick. Well, it's just a 2-minute story. Can you do it real quickly? Have someone you're thinking of?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Then we'll get somebody else. No worries. But glad to see you. Sorry you're sick. Who else wants to do this? All right. Susan Lynch. All right. By the way, it's the message of you members who can participate in this.
Hang on, let me.
That's great. Okay.
I'm unmuted now, right?
No, you're fine. I can hear you. All
Okay,
right. So I'm
great.
going to take you through. Can you tilt your screen down?
Oh,
Okay. There you go. Now, what is that you're promoting?
okay. I'm promoting my assistance and my guidance and help.
For what?
To a consulting firm.
Okay, so you're a consultant, right?
Right.
Okay, perfect. All right,
And
let's just
one of their consultants, Charles,
Okay.
was somewhat pompous, smug, well-dressed guy. I think probably around 40.
Now you don't want to diss him, Susan.
Okay.
He's smug. He was what a son of a bitch. I hated him as soon as I saw him.
Okay, that's good.
You don't want to. So what's his name again? He is
Charles.
And what does Charles do?
He was a consultant with my
consultant?
client, the firm, the consulting firm. But
Okay. And how old is he?
Around 40.
He's 40. Okay, great. And what does
Very
he want?
well dressed.
Very well dressed. But what does he want? What does he want?
He needed 2 of the clients, the company's clients. This was a consulting firm, so they have firms that are clients. And he was working on a project where he had 2 senior client members.
All right, this is way too much. What did he want?
He wanted help from 2 of his clients' senior people in order to do the project and have a positive outcome.
Okay, so what he wanted help from some coworkers, right?
Well, he was hired. The firm, let's say firm X, was hired by a financial services firm Y.
All right, let's just get to it because it's here's one thing about a story. If you confuse people, they won't laugh, they get turned off. You just have somebody, he was a consultant, he didn't have enough information about the project, so he needed to speak to, some senior people about it, but he couldn't do it. What was the mess? What happened? What was the mess?
He alienated the 2 senior people.
Oh, okay, but he was in a mess, but that's not the mess he was in. The mess was that nobody wanted to talk to him, right? Nobody wanted, was that it?
Well, we needed he needed those 2 people, and those 2 people didn't like him.
They didn't like him.
Yeah.
Okay. But how did that show up that he didn't like him? They didn't return calls, in other words.
Because Charles was sitting in the meeting with the 2 client senior people, and they would roll their eyes. They weren't giving him.
But that's after you. No.
Okay.
Okay, let me show you let me just do the story for you. He was a mess. You need to contact these people. They weren't returning calls. He wasn't getting emails back. In the meeting, they didn't even, he couldn't get their attention, and he tried to send them more emails. It didn't work. He kept trying. So, and he was getting his, really aggravated and frustrated. So he came to me for consulting, right?
Right.
And in watching him in a meeting, I saw that he was doing some things that were turning people off. I actually saw people roll their eyes, and I realized that his likability was very low with these people.
Okay.
And right?
That's correct.
Okay, his likability was really low, and he was doing some things that a lot of people do in meetings that turn other people off. I helped him become aware of those things. We worked together, and then what results?
So the result was at the end of the presentation to the very senior, like the CEO level, they told Charles, I really didn't want to be on this project. I really initially didn't like it, but I have to tell you, I enjoyed working with you. I learned something, and thank you very much.
Fantastic. That's exactly it. But you never, that's really great. And then at the end is like, if you're, in order to be an influencer, let me help you be a thought leader, be an influencer.
Okay, that's great.
Right? Let me help you. Because the problem is, and you need to make the problem that the people have not so complicated,
Right.
that the people watching go, well, I don't have problems trying to talk to two people. You want to go, he just couldn't get in touch and get the people, the decision makers, to listen to him. Now, making decision makers listen to you is a problem that a lot of people have, right?
Okay. Right.
How do I get to that person?
Right.
On your connection to that. So that story with him, and then if you can get him in the story, that's really awesome as well.
Okay. That's fantastic. That's great, Judy. That's great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Pardon me?
That's fantastic. So that's what we do, everybody, in the message of you. We are working on our speeches and on how to market ourselves. And I just want to show you one more thing to show you. And thank you, Esma. And someone asked in the chat, no, we are not wearing the same necklace. So I am all about helping you get your message out. But what a lot of people don't realize is that there are certain formulas and ways that things need to be presented. And you need to put your material in that format. Because if it's not in that format, people don't read it, look at it, or notice it. Because they know that you're not professional because it's not in the right format. So when you pitch yourself and you market yourself, or you tell a story about your product, try to really make it succinct. Have a story about somebody that you really changed their life, that they were in a mess. Describe them a little, describe the mess, make the mess be relevant to the people who are watching it. And then you come into the picture. Think you don't have to go into detail what happened, but the results say it all. These are the results that they got. Now they got up in front of people, or as Hesma got, she got paying gigs. What are the results? Find that story, and I hope that some of you join us and become a member of the Message of You, because you are going to change lives, and mostly you're going to be changing lives starting with your own life. So this is the offer. I see we have a few people who've already signed up. So we have 13 left now. So become one of the new 15 people in the Message of You. I look forward to working with you soon. Take care. Have a great night.